my friends, the great experiment.
Strange new world.
Hidden trick.
Would you look at that?
The greatest trick.
And you people, you're all astronauts on some kind of Star Trek.
The greatest trick.
Welcome to Greatest Trek. It's a new Star Trek podcast from the makers of The Greatest Generation. I'm Adam Pranica.
I'm Ben Harrison. You remember when they had the runabouts all of a sudden on DS9?
Mm-hmm.
I guess they started on DS9 with the runabout, but then they went to the Defiant because they didn't feel like they had enough room
Right.
in the bridges when they went on ships.
Yeah.
Because they I guess they wanted like a bunch of people to be able to interact on the bridge of the ship. And then a runabout, you just got like 4 seats and two behind?
Yeah, I remember that.
I think that they may, starting with Discovery, but in this new era of Trek, I think they have overcorrected for the crampedness of a runabout cockpit with the shuttles on these shows. They're too spacious. I know that this one episode is about, we stripped it down and took everything unnecessary out of the shuttle because it needed to be super leggero or whatever, but, I just feel like there's too much room to move around in these shuttles. It doesn't make any fucking sense to me.
I think that's a big reason why we aren't getting shuttle bay footage on this show. Because if we really saw the exterior of these RVs that
so
folks
big.
are taking, then I think it would kind of break the spell of what's happening here.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you ever gone RVing?
I've not gone RVing. I've always wanted to do the sort of music festival camping that would be in an RV.
Uh-huh.
But no, I just slept on the ground like everyone else.
Yeah.
Never did it. What about you?
I have only done it once. It was when I was a kid, and my dad had this dentist who was like a tax cheat, but he was like a tax cheat on some, I guess, maybe libertarian ideological basis. I'm sure he's like a sovereign citizen now. The guy was probably completely out of his mind.
Sure, let's assume that.
But yeah, he never paid his taxes on purpose because he didn't believe in taxes. And I don't know why, but my dad thought this guy was great. And I was friends with his son, and they had a big RV, like a Winnebago, like the one that's the size of a tour bus. And they took me on an RV trip, and we pulled into the campground, and me and this little boy went off to go get into trouble, which we did immediately. My memory of this trip is that we saw a creek, and we wanted to go down and see what was going on at the creek. So we started climbing this fence that was in between the campground and the creek, not realizing that it was a barbed wire fence, which I'd never heard of at the time. And I just shredded myself. My clothes were shredded. My palms and shins were shredded. I was completely bloodied up, and we just got back in the RV and went home.
So you ruined their RV trip?
Yeah. Through my ignorance of rural things such as barbed wire.
I just assumed that everyone knew what barbed wire was, but yeah, you have to learn about it somehow.
I learned the hard way, brother.
Boy, howdy, did you?
Yeah.
So did you bleed all over the inside of this RV? Because famously, there's a rule in RV culture where that goes something like, you don't take a shit in an RV.
Right.
It's just for number one only, and I imagine don't bleed in the RV is on the list somewhere.
Yeah, I think they probably patched me up outside before they let me back aboard.
You'd have to, yeah. Do you still have scars from that?
No, it was just I climbed up the thing and got a bunch of the way up before I realized that I was in a lot of pain all of a sudden. And I think I had to go for a tetanus shot because it was, it was rusty metal.
Yeah, with animal hair on it, stuff.
Yeah.
I got a terrible question for you, Ben. This friend made you climb the fence first, didn't he? I think that much is clear, isn't it?
I mean,
do you think maybe this wasn't such a great friend?
I mean, he hoisted himself on his own petard in that his camping trip was ruined. Maybe he didn't want to go camping. Maybe that was just something his parents thought was fun and he didn't. I don't know.
Diabolical.
Yeah.
Wow. Seeing that a couple of steps ahead.
Yeah.
Making a plan.
The shit's chess, it ain't checkers.
Yeah. I don't know. I grew up in a culture where camping was a big part of a lot of people's recreation. And yet, like, it was urban enough that you met people all the time that were like, no fucking way. Do not invite me on that. I will not go. Like, if nominated, I will not run. If elected, I will not serve in your camping trip. And like in high school, like we had to go on this big outward bound thing. And I had a friend who just wore like a knit cap and a sweater and a coat all day, every day during our summer excursion so that he would sweat so much that he would become dangerously dehydrated and have to be medevaced so he wouldn't have to go on the rest of the trip.
What a weird kid that was.
Yeah, he was a nice guy. He just knew what he wanted to do and what he didn't want to do.
Are you usual suspectsing me? Like, are you going to drop your mug and it will be revealed that kid was you?
No, that wasn't me.
So did it work?
Yeah, he was out of there like 3 days in. He was gone.
Oh, geez. What a gang of weirdos.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I grew up in a strange environment.
I mean, you camped so much more than I did as a youth. I really only camped as an adult, and maybe that affected my feelings for it.
I have never camped as an adult.
Really?
I stopped doing it after I was like, I think probably the last time I camped was, I was like 18.
Cut to your wife wanting to take the family on a camping trip and you wearing a sweater and a coat.
I'm like driving the family car wearing mittens.
And choosing a campsite next to a barbed wire fence. Like really setting it up.
I know how to get out of this.
Yeah. You know, you have options for getting out of this.
It's not for lack of wanting to. I would never plan a thing like that. Somebody else is going to have to plan it. I'll
Right.
go on it happily.
Right.
I'll bring the jazz gummies, you know?
Sure. Yeah, it's been a long time for me. I can't say it is a stated interest. Wynde loves to camp, from what I understand, and goes on trips around it. I don't know. I wake up sore sleeping in a bed. How am I gonna do waking up on the ground? It's not gonna work for me.
Yeah.
It's gonna make me terrible at splitting wood and doing the other things you need when you do a camp.
Well, let's see how Erica Ortegas does sleeping on the ground, Adam. Should we jump into this one?
Yeah, it's interesting that she's the one that gets the least amount of sleep at her particular campsite, Ben. It's Strange New World Season 3, Episode 9, and it's called Terrarium.
You know the greatest danger facing us is an irrational fear of the unknown.
You hear me? Strange sparkle thing!
We got a last time on that's just Ortegas' backstory with the Gorns, what she's been up to over the last season and a half with regards to these Gorns. And then we get her log, and the entrepreneur is in a spooky part of space investigating a place where weird stuff happens. Kind of got like Bermuda Triangle vibes from what they were saying about this part of space.
I think Bermuda Triangle, much like quicksand, much like, I don't know, dinosaurs or whatever, very much a kid interest, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
I remember getting books about the Bermuda Triangle. I was so interested in it. Seeing little TV specials about it. It really had a moment that I feel like has passed. Who talks about the Bermuda Triangle anymore? No one.
Kids. No,
Do kids still?
Yeah, my buddy went on the Joko cruise with his daughter specifically because of her keen interest in the Bermuda Triangle, and the cruise was like going through some of that water.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I feel like I heard of it from the Addams Family.
Like, da-na-na-na?
Yeah, like they talk about it in the Addams Family movie.
Okay.
Nobody gets out of the Bermuda Triangle, not even for a vacation. Everyone knows that.
And I probably hadn't even heard of Bermuda.
I just feel like in space, everything has a Bermuda Triangle-esque quality. Most of it's unexplored.
Sure.
Much of it is weird.
Yeah.
what puts this over the top is that like sensors and probes are being scrambled by this thing. It's like one of those pictures you used to be able to get, but you only see the image when you cross your eyes. Like pointing sensors and probes directly at this thing isn't working. So the plan...
I'm still convinced that was all a prank on me because it never worked as far as I could tell.
This is all Benjamin R. Harrison Truman Show. Your entire life, Ben.
Yeah. Oh, cool. There's an entire subplot in Mallrats about this? Bullshit. It's not real. I know you guys are all trying to trick me.
Wow, a sailboat.
Shut up.
If you can't use sensors and probes, why not just take a shuttle into it? Is the plan that's hatched. And in the science lab, we learn a little bit more about this mission. Ortegas is going to be the shuttle pilot, and the shuttle is going to be stripped down like how you turn a car that you buy at a dealer into a race car. You just take off all the panels and the radio and the air conditioning and stuff. Make this thing sleek.
Yeah. It is stripped down, and she goes really quickly. Like we have the meeting in the science lab about what they're going to do, and then they're doing it. And the ship is even rigged for non-visual control, so all the blast shields are down over the windows, and she's kind of flying using a like one of those, like, I feel like there was like a TIE fighter game back in the day where everything was drawn with like laser lines on the screen. You'd see it at like an ice skating rink in the arcade, you know?
Yeah, it's very the first video game esque in there. I mean, what's so interesting about this choice is that it is very, like, it's a very ILS pilot situation where Ortegas, like, the only way she sells that she's flying the thing is through body movements, right?
Yeah. And she sells it, and the mission is over really quickly. It's like, okay, you got all the info you were sent to come get, and you can drop your bois.
Deploy the buoy and return home.
A Vulcans on the Dustbuster Club amount of time has passed here. Just real quick.
So she starts pushing the bois buttons, and it almost seems like pushing those buttons triggers this banger, because a banger gets dropped on the shuttle, and we learn on the bridge that the shuttle is being pulled into a wormhole, and this is kind of just like a what? Like, what wormhole? Like, we didn't detect one when we scanned this place. This doesn't make any sense. And one thing I really liked about the way they shot this sequence on the bridge is that we never like cut to just an exterior of the shuttle circling the wormhole, but we do see it in the background on screens as we're focused in the foreground on characters reacting to what's happening.
This is consistent with the visual language I feel like we've gotten this season, where we're on the ship with our characters and our point of view. And even if it's the hero ship involved in something in the distance, we're not on that ship during. The thing that comes to mind is when Enterprise gets sucked into Trogdor's mouth. Like, we're on the Farragut for that. We're not on Enterprise, much in the same way. We're on Enterprise here, and we're not on the shuttle.
Right, but what distinguishes it from Star Trek of old is, like, on TNG, if they were like, oh my God, there's 3 ships now, like, you know, they'd never show it because it was way too expensive. In this, they've like rendered out the full visual, and it's just like not in focus because that's not the focus of the shot.
It has got to be so much more terrifying to not see the wormhole that you've been sucked into.
Yeah.
Or would you rather not see it? I can't decide. If you're Ortegas and you're a trained pilot, you gotta prefer to see out the windscreen, right?
Yeah. I mean, there is a comparison made to flying into a hurricane, which I imagine means you're kind of flying on instruments anyways. So maybe that's just what it was and what it was always going to be. But we lose contact, and that is the end of our cold open.
Really elegantly done, the way that we lose this contact, though. The way that we remain on Enterprise, we hear Ortegas' last moments without being with her during. And then we get those couple of beats on the bridge where everyone realizes what's happened.
That gulp.
But after the theme, Ortegas emerges on the other side of this wormhole, and the computer is absolutely screaming at her about all the systems that are failing on the shuttle.
It is a very busy part of space. Lots of crap in orbit of this gas giant. It's a big angry-looking blue planet with tons and tons of moons and also just detritus orbiting around it. And Ortegas is able to fire the buoy that she had.
I deployed Starfleet's fancy relay buoy.
She, tapes a distress signal and crashes. And first thing she does is check for the rations, which got cooked because they were behind a panel that had a little fire under it. So she has nothing to eat. That's pretty disappointing.
Did we know just how big of a priority eating has been to Ortegas the entire time on Strange New Worlds? I really found her hierarchy of needs fascinating because later on in the episode, she prioritizes food even above shelter and water. She's just hungry. And I'm thinking, you gotta eat before going on this mission, Ortegas.
Yeah.
Right?
I was surprised they sent rations at all. What did they think that she could possibly crash land on?
I feel like rations are on board every shuttle, as a pack.
But they took everything else off. Were they okay, we can spare the ounces for the rations?
Guess so. Yeah, as long as your ounces are lighter than Spock's body, which a lot of hay is made out of.
Yeah. So she starts making a log about what happened, but the log machine breaks. They also included the log machine.
Yeah, the hierarchy of Star Trek needs is shelter, rations, and recording personal logs, right?
Got shelter. That's good. But need water and food. So she starts with the water thing, and she builds a little gadget that I guess is able to suck water out of the air.
Seems that way. There is a moment where she makes this device and then lays down to take a nap in order to allow it time to do its business. And when she wakes up, it has worked. Great success. She's got a cup of water. So
now 2 of the 3 points in the survival triangle have been satisfied. And she didn't even have to do any Bear Grylls nasty shit. She just has to figure out some food. And that feels like the longest odds thing, right? This is a very barren moon. There's no real reason to think anything's going to be alive down here.
She has no idea at this point whether or not it's a bug planet, which is revealed to be later.
But it is an ugly planet
Yeah.
that she can confirm. And she's opened the door, just a crack on the shuttle to scan around, and not a verdant place. We cut back to the Entrepreneur, where a McLaughlin group has been convened.
Issue 1.
And it's kind of a what do we do? Where could the shuttle possibly have gone? What do we know about how wormholes work? And this is an era of Trek where a wormhole is a much more mysterious thing than it is in, the Deep Space Nine era.
No one feels good in this scene, and Spock is not helping. Spock is so great. It may be a hack opinion to say, I think Spock's my favorite character on this show. He's just so fucking honest. Everyone's going through their steps in the grief process, and Spock is the one thing we know about wormholes is all the things we don't know. It can do anything to you, it can take you anywhere, and it can obviously kill you in so many ways. So that's where we're at with this.
Yeah.
Not comforting, Spock.
There could be prophets in there that could have told her some very confusing things for all we know.
Oh my God. What if this was a backdoor Benjamin Sisko cameo that we got this episode? Holy moly, wouldn't that be great?
That would have been fun.
That is now your chair, Captain. It's a new ship.
We're also kind of under the gun here because there is a pandemic on some planet, and the Entrepreneur has the vaccine for that pandemic, and they need to rendezvous with the USS Constellation to get it over to them. I kept wondering, why not just send the Entrepreneur? What are they doing that's so important? Scanning a weird Bermuda Triangle in space? Just go save the lives and come back, right?
Yeah, I thought that too. I mean, there's definitely a reason to stay given at this point, but up until then, not a lot of sense is made
of
that.
So back on this moon, Erica feels an earthquake as she has started to wander around in the barren dust to look for something to chow on. And there's no explanation for this earthquake in the tricorder.
Non-specific seismic activity. Whatever that means. Not helpful.
Did we skip past the part where Ortegas learns that she can be out there without an EV suit? She just seemed like headscarf is sufficient for whatever's on the other side of that door. Let's just go into it.
Doesn't even mask up. Like I feel like a N95 might be a smart thing, just like given how dusty it looks.
This is, I think, just clearly a choice made for production and actor purposes. You know, this is the hero episode for this character, and you obviously want to see her face.
Yeah. So, she's looking for chow. She spots that wormhole in the sky, and that's pretty cool. It's just right there. So close. If she can get the shuttle working, she could probably just go right back through it.
But there's this tension, right? There's the wormhole and there's the gas giant, and it seems evident that eventually these two things are going to smash, and that's going to be bad for her if she remains. But knowing this, knowing that she's on a timeline, she still chooses food.
Yeah. You know, I think character talking to themselves so that we can understand what's going on is a really tough thing to pull off, and I think generally they did a really good job in this episode.
Sure.
The one thing that bugged me was her drawing an elliptical orbit. You know, like she kind of John Maddens the situation with the moon going into the thermosphere of the gas giant.
Right, where you don't need to do that for anyone but the viewer if you're just by yourself. Yeah, I get that.
Anyway, she's wandering around, and hey, what is that glinting off in the distance over there? What could that be?
Food, maybe? That's where she heads.
Maybe she could eat the neighbors?
On Enterprise, they continue to study the wormhole and attempt to communicate to the other side of it. And Uhura picks up a distress call from the other side. She's like, hey guys, I got it. I got the distress call. And everyone, like, from every bridge crew station clobbers her nuts. They're like, nope, actually, that's not how wormholes work. Wormholes reflect distress calls like these. There's no way that's what it is.
Yeah, it got kind of chopped and screwed, so it's a little hard to tell what Erica is saying, but it's her voice. So yeah, they're all just like, you know, that could have come from any point in her swirling the drain, and we're not going to use that as actionable intel about Erica Ortegas still being alive.
Uhura's plan in order to get that actionable intelligence is to just shoot a bunch of communication buoys through the hole to sort of daisy chain up an effective way to communicate to the other side. And Pike is like, absent any other plan, that sounds good to me.
We also get a name check of Captain Decker on the USS Constellation. Mm-hmm. That's interesting. I was like, oh, I'm going to be excited to see who they cast to play him.
Yeah, don't see him.
Still no sign of the Constellation. Matt Decker's in command. What could have happened to him?
Like, is he going to have that fucking incredible chin cleft or not? Like, because I feel like if it was me, I would be like specifically casting for Cleft. Like we can put him in a wig if he's not blonde, but we need a Cleft that is like world class.
This show fucks with the canon so much. You know they're gonna fuck with the Cleft, Ben.
Yeah, they wouldn't have good Cleft canon continuity. On a show like this.
Yeah.
So Captain Decker's going to have to fucking sit in his thumb. And we cut back to the moon where Erica has showed up at this kind of hobo camp looking structure. And nobody seems to be home. A lot of little like trinkets and objets situated throughout the hut, but nothing that like seems edible or useful.
It's interesting that the display of an old lady amount of bric-a-brac makes you feel a little safer, you know? Like, I don't feel threatened at this exact moment.
Right. At least this person tried to make it look nice in here, make it inviting.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, there's even a sort of beaded curtain quality to the tattered tarp situation that's happening in its opening.
It is not totally dissimilar from Pranica Cabanica. It's got an inviting quality to it.
Oh, yeah.
I
mean, there may or may not be fried chicken strips inside.
Yeah. Bucket of Ronas.
Yeah. Some Modelo Tall Boys.
Yeah.
Could be nice.
She has this little magnifying, it's like a pirate's telescope, basically, and she spots this Gorns that's like off in the distance coming back, and she hides, and the Gorn is like back and kind of checking around the space, and they do a lot of fun, close-ups on Gorn claws, and just fun photography to establish what a scary and freaky looking puppet this is.
Did you think for a moment that this Gorn could be food for Ortegas, given her deep desire for nourishment at this point?
I thought a lot about it because I was like, does eating a Gorn like infect you?
Good question. Yeah.
And also like, I mean, this isn't really like something that I feel like Star Trek has confronted directly in my memory, but in a lot of sci-fi, people that are like intelligent species that know of other intelligent species are just as icked out by the like kind of cannibalism of eating another intelligent species as they would be eating one of their own.
Interesting.
So I wondered about that. Like, do they think of the Gorns as sufficiently sentient to have a gross out moment trying to eat one?
If I have to bet, I'm going to say Erica Ortegas's fucked out hierarchy of needs suggests that she's definitely going to eat this Gorns if given the chance. I don't think there's any question.
We're going to have to wait to find out because we get another McLaughlin group.
Issue 2.
We learned that all of those comms probes that Uhura sent just kind of bounced off the surface. No luck getting any telemetry back from the other side, I guess. And unfortunately, also, every time they drop something into this hole, it gets a little bit smaller.
Yeah. You can't keep playing with it and expect things to go in whenever you want. And the sending of probes is immediately canceled as an idea if it's going to keep happening.
I would have guessed the opposite. I found like doing a little probing kind of tends to make a wormhole more available for something bigger to go in.
Uhura disagrees. Uhura proposes another modified shuttle mission, but the math of this doesn't work. Like, how many modified shuttles with one person aboard is worth sending on what is effectively a suicide mission when we have 4,000 soon-to-be-dead colonists waiting for a vaccine that they need to deliver?
There's this thing that keeps happening in this episode where Uhura's like, let's save Ortegas this way. And Spock will be like, that's stupid. No, we shouldn't. And Una goes, yeah, I agree with Spock. And then Captain Pike goes, let's hear Uhura out on this. And that's what happens here, where she's like, well, let's do it. And everybody else in the room goes like, no way. And Pike is like, all right, Uhura, we're doing your plan. Like, you just got to run some simulations to like satisfy the math. Like conditional approval, but approval nonetheless. It
seems pretty clear that if Uhura can't make the simulations work, it's going to be adios Ortegas.
Celia Rose Gooding is so good in this specific McLaughlin group because she is hanging tear on her right eye the entire time. She's like completely buttoned up and professional, but she just hangs tear the whole fucking meeting.
Hey, Uhura, don't cry at the office. Save that for the car in the parking lot, okay?
She does. She saves it.
Cut to Uhura, like in a parked shuttle, like by herself, like, baby, you're a firework.
It's the only time we see the shuttle bay in the entire season.
Like, exterior of shuttle, Uhura's the only one inside, stereo just cranked.
Yeah. We just hear the bass line.
On the planetoid, Ortegas watches this Gorns from behind a boulder and is very quickly found. A boulder is not sufficient cover for a Gorns, and I thought she was dead meat, but instead it seems as though this Gorns didn't like Ortegas being so close to the insect fishing hole that this appears to be.
Yeah, it sort of felt like the Gorn kind of used her as bait a little bit.
Unclear at this point what this is all about.
Yeah, so there's a millipede problem on this moon, and either Ortegas has been saved from the millipede or is going to be bait for the millipedes going forward. But we cut back to the science lab again, and Uhura has been running simulations over and over again. And Spock is like, come on, like lay off. Like, the simulations do not go well. This is bad. Like, you're not going to get this mission approved. There's no way.
Once again, all the simulations result in Mortal Kombat style fatalities depicted on screen. Like, what does ripping her head and spinal column out of her body, like, how would that happen at the end of the simulation? And yet, there it is on screen.
This is the 20th simulation and the 20th failure.
Not even Spock has the heart to tell her to stop running these things, though. And that's pretty nice, right? Nicer than you'd think he'd be. Because it is not logical to keep running these simulations.
That's just it. Like, a very emotionally intelligent move by Spock to allow these simulations to keep going. So back on the moon, we learn that this Gorn has a pretty bad leg injury. This is something that is evident to Ortegas, who's kind of like sitting on the dirt well outside the tent. And the Gorn is like ripping up this critter that it caught, and it tosses some of the bowels of this bug to Ortegas, and she's kind of shocked to learn that this Gorn does not want to kill her.
One of the great depictions of disgusting food in science fiction, I feel like, is this moment. Melissa Navius sells the idea of how gross this is, but also great work by the props department, because it is not just like the texture of insect body and its, crunch and goo combination.
Yeah.
It's the different colors. It's that when you manipulate one part of it, goo comes out of a different part of it. It's nauseatingly complex, what she's working with in her hands here. And I think it just all comes together in a really gnarly way, like in a way that you want in science fiction to just feel so totally alien and weird.
And so risky, like she takes a bite of this thing and is like holding back dry heaves, but also she's this desperate to eat.
Don't look at it. Just eat it.
You ever get a paper cone of chapelinas and like one of them is just like way bigger than the others, and you're like, God, eventually I'm gonna have to eat that big one. That's a hard moment for me.
That's the one I get first.
Sure.
I want the big one.
That doesn't surprise me. You can have my big one, Ben.
Yeah, toss me the big one.
This is just too big of a chapelina for Ortegas here.
Yeah. Well, what do you want to do after you've had a nice big meal of millipede? Take a nap. And that's what the Gorn does. And so without further ado, Ortegas steals the Gorn's comms array and starts heading back to her shuttle. But immediately, upon returning to the shuttle, she sees this weird twinkly light in the sky, and she's like, what the hell is that? And then the shuttle, like, falls into a hole in the...
Fuck! That's tough. She's going to need a plan B now, and after making it back to the Gorn's camp, she realizes that the bugs that this Gorn is hunting and eating are actually more dangerous than she thought at first, especially when there are a bunch of them.
Yeah, she's kind of on her way back when a couple of them come to attack her, and she is saved by this Gorn, who takes another injury to the leg from one of these things, but deploys this like dome of safety around them, which severs the body of the one that's bitten it and prevents the rest of them from getting at them.
That one's probably good enough to eat, right?
Yeah. We got some more chow for later.
Is a millipede or millipede adjacent insect just the most disturbing insect that you can think of? I think it is.
Oh, yeah. I saw footage of one killing a bird one time, like a really big one in a cave in like South America or something. And it's like the most disturbing thing I've ever seen. It's like an insect should not be able to take out a bird. It feels wrong on so many levels.
A bird doesn't deserve that.
Yeah.
What did the bird do?
A nice little bird. Leave it alone.
Ugh.
Go eat a fish or something. I don't even want to think about it eating a fish. Take it back.
Yeah. Yeah, I think all of these things should die.
In a McLaughlin group,
Issue 3.
Uhura presents Pike with a new plan that tosses out the heavily modified shuttlecraft idea and puts the entire entrepreneur at risk instead.
It's Operation Doorstop, and it involves Enterprise inflating a warp field around itself to keep this hole expanded. No one loves this idea, but Spock confirms that it's possible. And Pike is like, cool, well, I mean, the other issue is the whole sensor thing. Like, once we prop this thing open, how effective are the sensors going to be? We clearly, obviously, need these sensors to work at above 60% efficiency. And Uhura Ortegas is the percentage with her thumb in a way that reminds you of the way Ortegas goosed the thrusters a few episodes ago.
Not learning from our mistakes as a crew on this show. And I did wonder how Pike could possibly not notice that she was doing this, because she's like, 60%. Yeah, let me just look that up. Beep, 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 beep. Yep, look at that.
It's one of those things that's so crucial, you wish Pike didn't say 60% at all. Because then that leaves the other person to have to give the number first.
Yeah. Like if Pike was like, I know how much sensor capacity we're going to need to have once we do the first part of this plan. I just want to see if you also know.
So if you could write the percentage that you're getting on the pad on this little slip of paper, fold it in half and slide it across the science lab to me, I will then review it and then write what I need as a percentage on that and slide it back to you.
I'm going to go talk to my manager and see if we can get a percentage like this. I really want to work with you. I want to get as close as I can.
Back on the planetoid, Ortegas is inside the camp with the protective shield around it. And she somehow gets the Gorns to agree to a kind of live-in nurse situationship.
Yeah.
Very quickly.
It is a first aid for safety and food trade. And the Gorns has created a first aid paste using crystals from the planet.
Crystals!
And Ortegas is like trying to dress this wound. And in response for getting the wound nicely wrapped up, the Gorns gives her another bit of guts from one of these bugs. And Ortegas has one little piece of kit that she's still got working, which is a little like sterno emitter with a Starfleet logo on it.
I love this thing.
And, Gorns, not too dissimilar from a Frankenstein monster in that fire bad, but agrees to accommodate the fire so that Ortegas can eat her pit monster guts a little bit more roasted and prepared.
Let's talk a little bit about how they're communicating, Ortegas and this Gorns. It is all pantomime. I mean, Ortegas is talking while she's pantomiming, but like the Gorns is pantomiming back. And it just made me think about how taking sign language off the table, guys, don't fucking get in my comments for this. But if you take actual language spoken with pantomime off the table, how many of those is just sex stuff things? Right? Like probably half of all the pantomimes you can do are sex things.
Almost all of the hand gestures that I know personally are sex things.
That's why I was wondering about like at what point does the live-in nurse situationship turn into like a pantomime head and lap situation?
Right. You take care of me, I take care of you kind of pantomime. There's another little bit of pantomime about how they realized that they are both pilots. And there's like a little bond of respect starting to build between these two. Like, they're both pilots. They're both crash landed here. You know, they sort of need each other. It's gone from Ortegas being mortally terrified by this Gorn to being Like, hey, you're all right, Gorn. I'm surprised to hear myself say it, but you're all right.
Just a couple of girls having a slumber party.
Their similarities end when it comes to sleep, because this thing sleeps like a sad teen, giving Ortegas time to go off on her own a little bit. She sees that the wormhole is shrunk when she goes outside, and this kind of spurs along a greater urgency.
How could she tell if it's shrunk or not just further away, though? Like, how could you know the difference when you have a single point of vantage?
That's it. You broke the episode.
Finally. Yeah, I mean, she's worried about it either way. So she rededicates herself to establishing comms, and she realizes that to do that, she's going to need to actually collaborate with this Gorns, and the one finger going into a loop made by two other fingers, hand gesture stuff that they've been doing so far. It's not going to be enough for that. And so she starts jerry-rigging a universal translator mod to her tricorder.
It would have been very funny if it was one beep yes, two beeps no, and then when she gets rescued, she's got to like very carefully describe how she made this thing, not inspired by the idea of a dark future that Pike has to confront.
Yeah,
down the line.
I mean, is she aware? I feel like she might not be aware of that. So maybe she says it, and yeah. Pike is like, "Ooh,
I thought you'd be proud of me, Captain."
Yeah, leave that out when you write your report. I don't want that technology making its way back to the Federation.
We need to score a lot of platinum fast.
Licensed businessman.
This ship and her history will shortly become the care of another crew. They will continue the voyage we have begun.
The greatest trek.
It is impressive how much you can communicate with someone just by asking interesting yes or no questions. Because they cover a lot of ground here once this thing is constructed.
They do. It's also revealed that this Gorns has some telepathy skills and knows what Ortegas has been thinking the entire time, which kind of explains why the Gorns always gets the drop on people. Like, if they know what we're thinking, like, of course, they know, like, what traps we're setting for them and stuff like that.
I did not think this was telepathy at all. I thought it was in conversation that the Gorns had studied humans enough to understand their language.
Oh, really? So you thought it was understanding what she was saying?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Oh, man.
We had a different take on this.
You might be right. I don't know. Maybe we should put this to the viewers. Did this Gorn have telepathy, or was it just a cunning linguist?
They don't have a lot of time, Ben. And this is one part of the episode that shows interesting over realistic. Because when you don't have a lot of time to construct a way to communicate out the wormhole or avoid a storm that's coming to get you, or maybe the moment you run out of food, how much time do you have for chess lessons?
There is a big difference between the amount of time that seems to be transpiring on this planet versus on the Entrepreneur.
Yeah.
The Entrepreneur is like we don't have a lot of time left. This wormhole is essentially collapsing. Plus, we've got to go get Captain Decker all of these shots. And then, like, it seems like days and days are going by on the moon.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel like dialogue has solved this in a million other sci-fi things. Like, oh, time passes differently in the place that the wormhole goes to. Like, Erica Ortegas lived like 3 weeks with this Gorn, and, you know, from our perspective, she was only gone 6 hours.
I wonder if this becomes another example of an ADR solving for a question we have during a screener, because this has happened multiple times during this season. We're watching a scene in an episode thinking, like, that wasn't really neatly resolved. What's up with that? And then we're reading later that, like, yeah, what the fuck? Like, they totally said it while a character was facing away from camera.
Oh, man. I have not heard about these instances so far.
Oh, I'm reading a ton on the Reddit. The Greatest Gen Reddit, Ben.
Huh.
You know, 14,000 members strong, Greatest Gen Reddit.
Yeah.
Should look into it.
I've heard good things.
So the Gorns wants to change games to Bone Gammon.
That's bone.
Mm-hmm.
And for some reason, Ortegas wins this. And guess what? The winner of Bone Gammon gets to eat the piece, the game piece that they were playing with, which Ortegas fake stewing.
No leisure demand in the Gorn culture. They don't have Gorn Magic Castle. Nobody does that kind of stuff. So this trick totally works.
This looks impossible to have swallowed, though. As a thing?
Yeah.
This is like a Jax from the classic game Jax.
Yeah, do not want the bone in my mouth. I don't know why the Gorn wants the bone. I mean, they have big, sharp, chompy teeth, but it's not like they aren't soft on the inside, right?
But I guess like when reptiles eat other animals, they don't spit out the bones. They're taking those whole things down.
Do they? Yeah. I mean, like owls do that. They like shit out like little balls of fur and bones.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe they can handle it. But also, like, Gornette is much bigger than Ortegas, you know? So she has a bigger gullet, probably, to take down this big-ass thing. Like, there's no fucking way a human can swallow the thing that Ortegas is meant to swallow.
I'm sure this Lady Gorns has holes so much bigger than Ortegas's. Like, could probably take on things so much larger than Ortegas ever could.
You could fly an entrepreneur in there and use the warp field to hold it open real big.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. What does game night do for them? It makes them comfortable enough to sleep around each other after. And what a moment, right?
Mm-hmm.
In this episode, I was half expecting, like, Gorns to be Big Spoon and Ortegas to be Little Spoon.
Yeah, and then the Gorn is like, somehow communicating, I'm too hot. Has to move around to the outside.
You move around too much. What would you say to maybe a separate bed situation? It doesn't mean anything about our relationship explicitly. It's only about the sleep.
You know, I have read that in Sweden, each partner gets their own sheets, even if they're sharing a bed. What do you think about that?
And yet the divorce rate's much lower in Sweden.
No. I did not mean to make you sad. We will do the thing that makes me very uncomfortable all the time because you're sensitive about it.
For the rest of my life.
I will sleep terribly for eternity because of my devotion to you.
The next morning, Ortegas has made some advancements in the improvised homing beacon she's been working on. And she's been making this out of the Gorns technology. And what's interesting about, like, the pace of these improvements to the tech is that as things improve tech-wise, the Gorns is getting sadder. What's that about? Something is not adding up in this scene, and it's not just that, right? Yeah. There's a lot about the situation that doesn't quite feel right, like why the wormhole just surprised Ortegas the way it did, or why the camp didn't show up on her tricorder, and all those flashing lights she sees in the distance. She feels like being watched. She says this many times this episode.
It's starting to feel like they got trapped here on purpose. And, you know, this is something that they have to set aside as a topic of conversation because the wounds on this Gorn lady are getting a lot worse. The infection is getting bad, and they're out of the ground up crystals.
Crystals!
And so Ortegas is like, oh, gotta fix you. Gotta get more of those crystals for you. And the Gorn's like, no, don't bother.
You know, I already accepted the thing about being Big Spoon, and I just feel like at this point, maybe suffering is my lot in life.
It's one of the many forms of manipulation I can deploy against you in this partnership we have. See?
We never really meet things head on, do we? We always kind of just tiptoe around each other's big emotional reactions and never address our own needs. It's the foundation of a deep codependency.
No matter what, you will remain the victim at all times.
But it kind of occurs to Ortegas that, like, a Gorn can be too broken to fix. They don't necessarily treat an injured comrade as somebody worth saving in their society.
And we know this because we've seen a Gorn ship shoot a damaged Gorn ship just to remove her from the board.
Right.
Ortegas is like, we could get you asylum on the Enterprise. What do you think about that? And the she-Gorns is like, not really feeling that option either.
You know, when we got together, I think we both knew that I would never meet your family, and I know they would not accept me, and they would not accept us.
Didn't you get some real Harry and the Hendersons vibes during this scene? Like, I thought for sure eventually we were going to see a scene where Ortegas was going to throw one of these stones at the Gorns and be like, go on, get out of here.
I don't want to be your little spoon anymore.
It's funny how, like, the animatronic of this character is not dissimilar from any of the other Gorns we've encountered, but with the addition of, like, the little headscarf thing that the Lady Gorns wears, it's amazing how much more affecting this character becomes with just that. This is like when Pee-wee dresses up with that escaped convict in the passenger seat of the car, and, like, all it takes is Pee-wee Herman putting on the handkerchief. Bonnet? Yeah, the bonnet.
Why don't you take a picture? It'll last longer.
That's what this Gorns is doing here.
So the entrepreneur wedges itself into that big hole. Spock is in the big chair, and Pike is in Ortegas' seat because he's the best pilot on the ship.
Great 3-shot.
Yeah, they get themselves in there, and rather than confess her lie to Pike, Uhura is off in the corner praying because he has cited their scannability rating at being a comfortable 61%.
Thoughts and prayers, not effective in emergency situations like this, Uhura.
No.
Didn't love this.
Once the prow of the ship is on the other side of the hole, we're told that there are 396 moons surrounding this gas giant. So, shit, like, I guess we'll just scan as many of them as we can and hope that they're on one of these. But there is a ticking clock here because there will be a moment where the wormhole is collapsing too much for the warp field to hold it apart.
The greatest trek
Is yet to come.
On the moon, Ortegas is harvesting some more crystals.
Crystals!
For the Gorn's leg injury. And God, these native bugs are just all over the place, and they chase and attack her. And when you're at the moment where a bunch of these bugs are about to get you, you blow up the improvised explosive you have. You'll do anything to get them off you. But the problem is when she does this, the explosion knocks out the power system that ran the comms and the shield. And what's weird is that Captain Riker from season 3 of Picard shows up, and he's like, "You've killed us all." Why do you keep saying that?
Yeah. And she's like, I was going to say that myself.
Yeah.
So, yeah, RSVP us, she states to the Lady Gorn. And, you know, this is like, we have no defenses from the millipedes. The toxic cloud of the planet's thermosphere is going to be washing over the moon again. That's no good. We're cooked. And then she says, cooked? That gives me an idea. And she comes up with the idea of lighting the gases from the gas giant on fire when they make contact with the planet. And this is risky as hell, but we're going to have to try it kind of idea. And Gornette reveals that she's been holding out on the presence of a thruster pack. It's been under a blanket the whole time.
I hated this part. Gord's just like, oh, I've got a Deus Ex Machina for that. What do you think of this engine with jet fuel in it that I've been using as a pillar?
I didn't have a huge problem with it. I mean, like, is your complaint that it could have been, like, intercompatible with the shuttle and they could have, like, taken off with it, or?
I think what happens at the end of the episode could be something that fixes this moment, but, like, the whole I've got an engine with fuel and a heat shield and all this other stuff just behind the camp. You never look back there, Ortegas, on any of your bug hunts.
Yeah. It's risky, but we got to do it. So they make a heat shield with the panels from Gorn's spaceship.
This fucking heat shield, Ben. This is like if the Mercury capsule like didn't have panels that sealed What good is a heat shield if you've got gaps in it?
I guess I'll be the big spoon on the outside toward the heat shield, and you can be inside.
Everyone always thinks because I'm big. I don't feel things, but I do.
So they're like building this heat shield, and I didn't quite clock why Erica was like, fuck it, it's not even worth trying. But suddenly
I thought it was because she was weaker than the Gorns was, and she was having a hard time assembling it.
Yeah, but
because it takes the Gorns to like complete this construction.
I gotcha. Okay. Yeah, because it's kind of like tipping over.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Gornette is down with the plan.
You always get mad at me for helping. You prefer to do things on your own. That is why I did not help.
This is not an issue of your autonomy. Me try to help save our lives. This emergency. This is not about your ego. In all other circumstances, obviously you are as good of a driver as I am, and you can drive the car half the time. What? I didn't even bring that up.
It seems as though, like, for just so many reasons, this plan is not going to work. I mean, up to and including the moment of truth where Ortegas has to hit the button, but the rocket doesn't fire, so she's got to run out there and hit the button manually on the thing. And then when she does, the missile ignites the atmosphere, and this shielding is revealed. I mean, it's not a revelation. The shielding has always had holes in it. So when we get inside this thing with our characters, it gets bright and uncomfortable. And I do love the effects work that is all over this scene, where it's just chaotic and difficult to understand what's happening. And we cut to Enterprise before we see a resolution.
It's glowing yellow, and then it's glowing white in a way that I was like, oh, is this them being beamed out in that moment?
I thought so too, yeah.
And then we're on the bridge, and it's like, no, they are not beamed out. And the entrepreneur is still unaware of this gambit. And they're like, oh man, like I guess we ran out of time and we can't find them. And Uhura comes and tries to confess to Pike about her lie.
Ben, is this obvious? Like, I don't want to save this moment until later in case I forget it, but like, did the Metrons make sure that the shield worked?
I don't know. I mean,
because of the white flash, I mean?
Oh,
I wonder if the color of the flash is a visual code for what happened.
That's interesting. I didn't even think of that.
Because you were right to describe the difference in color. Like when we see the planet from the exterior, like that is an orange glow.
Treat your wood to the power and protection you get with orange glow.
Whatever it means, they notice this anomalous reading, like right in the nick of time. Like Una's like, all right, let's back up now. Like we got to get out of this wormhole and go deliver that vaccine. And that's right when they notice the fireball planet. And they're like, that's definitely Ortegas.
That's her signature move. Blowing shit up.
I like shouted at the TV when Pike was like, take a landing party and go get her. Like, no, beam her up. Don't send people down.
Yeah.
Did you see what just happened to that planet?
It's an example of that meaning several things.
Yeah.
Like, I guess you land on a transporter.
I guess so. Yeah, like that was the other thing was like I thought that they were talking about taking another shuttle, but I was also just like get a fix on her position and beam her the fuck up. Like there's no reason to send people down to like see how she's been living or whatever.
It still feels like there's not a ton of urgency in a moment where we just learned that the ship cannot remain in this hole very much longer. Like
we were redlining 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, let's fucking go, guys.
Anyways, a bunch of La'an's red shirts beam down and they shoot the Gorn the moment they see it.
La'an specifically.
Yeah.
Is she the only one that shoots it?
Oh, I thought they all shot.
Yeah.
But yeah, like Erica's specifically pissed at La'an and is like probably from their perspective completely off her nut because she starts ranting at the sparkly light thing and La'an is like, all right, let's get the hell out of here. And they start to beam out and time kind of freezes as the transporters start. And we meet this Metron.
We are the Metrons.
This is, I guess, a prequel to Arena is what we're seeing here.
It's clear that Ortegas has been My name is Barashed. And this Metron that looks like a bald Gal Gadot comes out to admit it. I'm Barash, and I might as well be singing Imagine for how much sense my reasoning makes in a moment like this.
Yeah, we need more data, but there's like, this has given us a glimmer of hope for your species. And there's going to be a memory wipe, but not a total memory wipe. I guess it's just the Metron part that's getting memory wiped.
You know how when you're like, and I'm being the Metron here, like, you know how when you're a sports fan, you really love the rivalry? Like Bears-Packers. Love those games every season. Really get it up for that. Guys, I got to tell you, I'm just a Gorns human sports fan. I just fucking love you guys fighting. And I'm going to keep making these games. Because I think we learn a lot about each other during this, right?
Mm-hmm. So was the Gorns real in your understanding?
Here's what I think. Fuck. I wanted to save this for the did you like part. I think if the Gorns isn't real, it bails the episode out of a lot of issues I had with the episode constructing a lot of Deus Ex Machinas throughout. Like if it's truly a Metron construction and a Metron situation where they get to decide when stuff appears and how things are useful or not, like that, then that starts to make sense that this was all a manipulation.
I mean, the title kind of makes me think, yes, like it's a simulated environment to see what Erica Ortegas would do if.
Right.
But yeah, strange moment, strange guy.
I like Ortegas' react to this, though. Like, not understanding the Metron's deal, not appreciating the manipulation.
There is hope for your two species.
Pardon me for saying, but I don't care what you think.
And when the Metron's like, look, we're going to wipe your memory. We're going to keep the vibes only of this. But, like, basically, we want to leave open the possibility of running this experiment again at a later date. That's the last we see of this being, for now.
And we catch up with Erica in her quarters where Uhura stops by to get a load of how stinky she is.
Do you even smell your own breath, Ortegas?
She hasn't had a bath in some amount of time that is unknowable.
Personal question. If you have to do one, are you brushing your teeth or taking a shower? Like in a situation like this, what is the first thing to correct?
I think teeth.
Yeah,
teeth
me too.
First.
Yeah. I feel the same way. There's no amount of shower that would make me feel clean if my mouth were dirty.
Yeah. She's feeling some weird complications about La'an for shooting the Gorn. A real turnabout for Erica Ortegas, who didn't really care much for the Gorn before.
She was my friend. Lon is my friend too.
I was baffled by the equivalence of this stated in the dialogue. Like the whole two friends did a thing that I can't wrap my mind around kind of way. Wow. All right. Final shot is this game piece that she faked eating on this planetoid. And we're out of the episode, Ben. Did you like it?
She'll always bring it home.
I think I did overall. I do agree that there's a lot of stuff that felt like a little arbitrary and weird and random, and like maybe I'm very curious to see if there is a tighter version of this episode that winds up airing, because I agree. Like, I think a few little snatches of dialogue could make this a much tighter and better ep. But for what we watched, you know, like maybe the weakest episode of the season that I still more or less enjoyed watching, you know?
Yeah, I don't want to terrary yuck anyone's terrary yum.
Wow. Woo!
Thank you.
Yes! You do not get that shit on any other Star Trek podcast.
I know, that's what makes our shows the best. But I also did find this a little bit of a mess, unless we blame its messiness on the Metrons. And I think that's such an elegant cheat.
Yeah.
If you're the writer of this episode. Like, it was just the Metrons, baby, right? That's why it's so weird and things don't quite fit together.
That's why the big spoon was feeling too hot, but just had to sleep like that. It's
Yeah.
the Metrons.
So I really do think that part of it's unclear. I think the flash of light is a big, big clue.
Yeah.
But like the body of the Gorns remained. And I feel like if the Gorns were fake, that body would disappear or something. Like there would be some extra bit of code that would make it clear that this entire terrarium was a construction and not the Gorns and Ortegas being real and a part of it at the same time. Do I like that being a mystery? Maybe I do. Like maybe that makes me like the episode more. But like, here's what I don't like. I don't like going through the episode, watching it linearly and disliking what's happening because I feel like it's bad. Because that's the risk you run in blaming everything on the Metrons at the end. I've already experienced 15 minutes of like, well, this episode is poorly constructed and things don't make sense. I don't want to feel that about an episode I'm watching.
Yeah. Yeah. Even if you can like win back the goodwill with something like that at the end, like I felt uneasy for too much of the episode to feel like I can like totally wholeheartedly endorse it.
That being said, if you could give an entire episode to one actor / character on Strange New Worlds, the Ortegas character taking this the way that she does, capably, ably, and entertainingly, like I thought she was awesome in this. And I can't recall another episode of Strange New Worlds where one of the characters got this kind of opportunity outside of Pike.
Yeah.
This was really tremendous. And Melissa Navia was fucking excellent in this.
She fucking ate.
Yeah.
No crumbs on this one.
No.
All right. You want to get into P1s?
Not if the Metrons are there.
Priority 1 message from Starfleet coming in on secured channel.
Ben, we got a promotional Priority 1 message here.
Okay.
It's from mojocollab.com. Here's their message. To FODs building or managing software, need an IT/cloud engineer who can make it so? I'm a freelance consultant, helping growing software teams automate ops, scale in the cloud, and boldly go where no infrastructure has gone before. In AWS and Azure, from cloud automation to AI stuff, I help you avoid Boimler-level screams and protect your precious buffer time. Let's build something stellar. mojocollab.com. That's mojocollab.com. The tech job market sucks right now. Here's to the greatest gen bump.
Wow.
And at the end, we can do our drop of choice, which always means it's a drop of Wynde's choice.
It is.
Well, how do you expect me to type?
Not with your fingers.
With my nose?
Would have definite advantages.
Okay, it's typing everything I'm saying.
Not with your fingers.
My nose!
They'll destroy you.
Do you see that? With my nose?
There it sits.
Stop it!
Everything you have done, stop. With your fingers.
Stop.
With your fingers.
Well, how do you expect me to type? With my nose?
Stop.
Stop it!
Stop.
Stop it!
Stop.
Stop it! My nose!
Stop it.
You thought you could handle it. So handle
That does it, I quit!
So here's the call to action. Got infra issues lurking like Gorns eggs?
Oh boy.
Visit mojocollab.com before they hatch and tear through your stack. mojocollab.com. mojocollab.com.
Good timing on a Gorns app with that call to action. I love it.
Yeah, no kidding.
All of the stuff that Mojo Collab is talking about here is way over my head. So
I feel like if you're in the market for what Mojo Collab can do, you know exactly what we're talking about.
yeah, you know you need their help. Come on.
I feel like me and Ben are like doing pantomime stuff with what Mojo Collab can do, where you could have an actual conversation
Yeah,
with Mojo
Yeah.
Collab.
exactly. Our next P1 here is from Tom from Denton. It's to Uxbridge Shimoda LLC. It goes like this. Doing a chronological Trek watch with some Trek virgins, and we just finished the TOS episode Assignment Earth. In honor of this milestone, may I please have the Roberta Lincoln typewriter drop?
Well, how do you expect me to type?
Not with your fingers.
With my nose?
Would have definite advantages.
Look, it's typing everything I'm saying.
Not with your fingers.
My nose!
They'll destroy you.
Do you see that? With my nose?
There it sits.
Stop it!
Everything you have done, stop with your fingers.
Stop.
With your fingers.
Well, how do you expect me to type? With my nose?
Stop.
Stop it!
Stop.
Stop it!
Stop.
Stop it! My nose!
Stop it.
You thought you could handle it, so handle it.
That does it, I quit!
I love it.
It's one of the top drops.
I love that we played this twice in the P1s.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Who would have seen that coming? Well, Tom from Denton, that sounds like a fun project, and I think you will find our next project on this show to be fun, if that's what you're up to.
Oh, yeah. How about that foreshadowing? Nice work, Ben.
I'm not going to go into any more detail, but if you'd like to go into detail about a project you're doing or just shout out a friend, we'd sure appreciate a P1 on this show. Head to MaximumFun.org/Jumbotron if you'd like to book one today.
Hey, Ben.
What's that, Adam?
Did you find yourself an Edward Larkin?
I think I'm going to give it to Uhura on this one. Definitely the chaotic choice maker of this episode. And I think that maybe the biggest hole in the episode that we didn't talk about in our Did You Like portion is how off the rails Uhura goes in her pursuit of saving Ortegas in a way that didn't feel entirely justified. Everybody's like, yeah, I mean, we really love Ortegas. She's the best, but nothing we can do.
But also, a few episodes ago, she did endanger the entire ship and try to kill us. We're not going to talk about that part, right?
No.
It's almost as if there is a double standard. What you are permitted to do and fuck up versus me. I'm going to make mine Una because of a quality you described earlier in the episode, which was her just basically repeating the things that Spock was saying. I think I've known this type of employee. I've worked with this employee before where there's coasting off of the contributions of someone else in the meeting to present an air of being productive in that meeting. And then also the way she clobbers Pike's nuts when he's at the helm. That's not necessary. If Pike is the best qualified pilot for his starship during a mission that could kill everyone, let's just be a little cooler in the moment, Una.
Yeah. Chill the fuck out.
Yeah.
I mean, she has the biggest axe to grind with Ortegas, so maybe she's just
oh,
I don't want to be the one that's leading the charge on let's abandon Ortegas.
Yeah, that would be suspicious. Yeah.
But I do want to support the efforts of anybody that is making that case.
Great call. Yeah. So Una's going to be mine.
Good Larkins all around. Adam, we end every episode of Greatest Trek with a warning bois. This is a segment where we express our appreciation for folks who have recommended the show online, and especially folks who have left a nice review of our show in their podcatcher app of choice. Do you want to hit the people with a warning bois?
Prepare a buoy and launch it when ready.
Warning buoys.
An emergency buoy.
A warning buoy.
Love to, Ben. I've got a review here off of Podcast Addict from a user named Team Eves.
Okay.
So that 5-star review goes, as a long-suffering podcast addict, there's nothing more I like putting straight into my veins than these two embarrassingly talk about Star Trek. Dick and fart jokes aside, their heart and their willingness to watch and fairly discuss the Trek that may not have been their Trek puts these sweet, sweet boys on top. Barf. Don't call us that.
I'm a very sweet boy. I accept it.
Both sweets go to Ben.
Yeah. That's me.
As an addict someday, I'll get the help that I need, but until then, get me a spoon, a mirror, and some rolling papers. Woo! I'm gonna live forever!
Team Aves, sounds like you're having a great time. You know what? We're going to be here for you when you need us. Thank you for the 5-star review. And
that's how you do it.
If anybody would like to leave a nice review, on Podcast Addict or Apple Podcasts or wherever you download podcasts, it really helps us. And we'll probably find it. And you might hear your words coming out of our mouths on an upcoming episode.
Here's Wynde to tell you about an upcoming episode. Wynde, the producer and editor of the show.
We really appreciate her. Bye-bye.
Greatest Trek is an Uxbridge Shimoda podcast on the Maximum Fun Network. It's hosted by Ben Harrison and Adam Pranica, and it's produced and edited by Wynde Priddy. Next week on the show, Ben and Adam will be back to talk about the Strange New Worlds Season 3 finale. It's called New Life and New Civilizations. Until then, we want to thank the members who are contributing monthly to help keep this show going. Members get instant access to the entire catalog of bonus content, and setting up a membership is quick and easy at MaximumFun.org/join. We really appreciate it. Thanks to Nick Dittmore, who created the show art, and Adam Ragusea, who composed the theme music. Thanks to Rob Adler and Bill Tilley. They work on the @Greatest Trek social media pages that you can find and follow online. And be sure to use the hashtag Greatest Trek when you post about the show. If you find yourself wanting to discuss all of these things with other FODs, there are some amazing fan-run communities that you can join. Go find the Facebook group, the subreddit, or join the Discord server at drunkshimoda.com. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week on Greatest Trek.
Maximum Fun,
a worker-owned network
of artist-owned shows.
supported directly by you.